Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Repeating small efforts doesn't always lead to success. Often, these efforts can feel insignificant and may not result in big changes, which can be frustrating. Repetition can become an empty routine if there's no clear direction or continuous adjustment. It's not enough just to repeat efforts. It's essential to constantly evaluate if these efforts are heading in the right direction. Allow yourself to adjust your actions, review your strategies, and sometimes even change your goal if necessary. Small efforts are valid, but they need to be guided by ongoing reflection on their impact. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Discipline may seem like a bridge, but sometimes it's more like a wall that's hard to climb. The pressure to be disciplined all the time can be suffocating and lead to burnout. Not everyone can maintain discipline without compromising their well-being. Discipline is important, but it's equally crucial to respect your limits. Allow yourself breaks and understand that slips are part of the process. The true bridge is built with balanced discipline and self-compassion. It's about moving forward, even if it sometimes requires a pause. Is not the strongest to survive, nor the most intelligent, but those who best adapt to change. Adapting may seem simple, but it often involves painful sacrifices and changes that can destabilize us. It's not always easy to find the strength to adapt when everything around us is changing rapidly. Adapting doesn't mean transforming completely or forgetting who you are. Find ways to change without losing your essence. Accept that you don't need to adapt to everything at once, and that you have the right to choose the changes you want to embrace. Focus is about saying no to the hundreds of good ideas out there. Saying no is difficult, especially when you feel pressure to take advantage of every opportunity. There's an expectation that we should always be seeking more, and this can create anxiety and the feeling that we're missing out on something important. Focus is indeed about choices, but it doesn't have to be about saying no to everything. Instead of thinking about what you're leaving out, focus on what you're gaining by committing to something specific. This helps ease the pressure and find peace in your decisions. Energy flows where attention goes. Directing attention towards something specific doesn't always guarantee success or a positive result. Sometimes our attention is on something that simply doesn't work, and persisting can lead to frustration and emotional exhaustion. Be mindful of where your energy is going, but don't be afraid to change your focus when you realize it's not working. Sometimes redirecting your attention can be the most important step to regain your energy and motivation. Persistence is the path to success. Persisting without concrete results can be extremely discouraging. The idea that simply continuing will lead to success can be misleading and cause physical and mental exhaustion. Persistence is important, but should be accompanied by reflection and changes in strategy. When something isn't working, it's wise to reevaluate and, if necessary, change direction. Persisting intelligently is more valuable than simply moving forward without questioning. You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. Being forced to be strong is not something that should be romanticized. Many people go through difficult times that demand strength, but it can leave deep scars and a sense of extreme vulnerability. Strength doesn't have to be a solitary act. Don't wait until you reach your limit to discover your strength. Ask for help when needed. Acknowledge your weaknesses and understand that being vulnerable is also part of being strong. True strength comes from recognizing your limitations and acting anyway, with support and self-care. Starting is the most important step to finishing something. Starting is important, but often it's not enough. Many people start but lose their way, feeling demotivated or unclear on how to continue. The pressure to just start can be simplistic and ignore the real challenges that follow. Don't focus only on the beginning. Plan your next steps. The journey requires more than a starting point. Break the process into manageable parts and celebrate small victories along the way. Starting is just the first of many steps that require your attention and dedication. Without effort, you won't transform. Without transformation, you can't succeed. Effort doesn't always lead to transformation, and believing so can create overwhelming pressure. Many variables in life and success are not always directly linked to how much effort you put in. Sometimes context and circumstances also play a significant role. Yes, put in the effort, but remember that not everything is within your control. Transformation is a process that includes learning to accept what you cannot change and focusing on what you can. Not all efforts are visible or immediate, and it's okay if changes take longer than expected. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Romanticizing hard work can create the illusion that effort alone can achieve anything, overlooking the impact of fatigue, mental health, and unequal opportunities. Constant hard work can lead to burnout. Hard work is one piece of the puzzle, but it's also essential to work smart and respect your limits. Know your abilities and develop a strategy that allows you to work sustainably and enjoyably. Work hard, but also know when to rest and take care of yourself. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. Willpower, no matter how indomitable, doesn't guarantee results. Often, even strong willpower isn't enough to overcome real obstacles like physical, financial, or emotional limitations. This belief can lead to frustration when things don't go as planned. Recognize the importance of willpower, but don't see it as the only decisive factor. Strengthen your will with planning, support from others, and realistic strategies. True strength lies in combining determination with practical actions that can sustain your growth. The quality of your life depends directly on the quality of your focus. Placing the responsibility for life's quality solely on individual focus disregards external factors that deeply influence our lives, such as health, safety, and social support. Sometimes, simply focusing isn't enough to improve life quality. Focus is important, but also acknowledge the factors beyond your control. Be kind to yourself regarding the limitations you face and focus on what you can change without blaming yourself for what you cannot. The quality of life is a balance between what you do and how you handle what you cannot control. If you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. Linking happiness to a goal can be risky, as it places happiness always in the future, unreachable in the present. This endless pursuit of a goal can prevent one from valuing the present and cause anxiety. Having goals is important, but don't condition your happiness on them. Find moments of happiness in the process, in the journey. Allow yourself to be happy while working toward your goals, appreciating the path, rather than focusing solely on the destination. Happiness shouldn't be a distant reward, but something cultivated along the way. What you do repeatedly is what you become. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Repetition can create habits, but it doesn't always lead to excellence. It's possible to repeat behaviors that don't contribute to growth or even reinforce negative patterns. Relying solely on habits disregards the need to learn from mistakes and change when necessary. Focusing on habits is helpful, but it's also essential to review and adapt them. Not all repetition leads to excellence. It's the quality of your efforts that matters. Review, reassess, and don't be afraid to abandon habits that no longer serve you. Excellence isn't in blind repetition, but in conscious and intentional practice. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. The idea that success is always preceded by hard work can create immense pressure, leading many to believe that if they haven't succeeded yet, they're not working hard enough. This ignores factors like opportunity, luck, and privilege. Acknowledge that work is important, but also that success can depend on factors beyond your control. Create your opportunities, but understand that sometimes success can be a slower process. True success lies in moving forward, even when the rewards aren't immediate. Giving up is for the weak. Staying strong is for the strong. This simplistic view of quitting versus persistence can be harmful, as it labels any pause or change in direction as weakness. Sometimes, quitting is the bravest thing someone can do to preserve their mental and emotional health. Knowing when to give up something that no longer brings benefits or is causing suffering is a sign of strength, not weakness. Staying strong is important, but it's also necessary to be wise enough to realize when something is no longer worth the effort. True strength is recognizing what is best for you and acting accordingly. There's only one secret to success: never give up. The idea that the secret to success is never giving up can be misleading. Sometimes, insisting too much on something that isn't working can be detrimental, leading to stagnation and frustration. Success is not just about persistence, but about knowing what is worth persisting in. Don't be afraid to adjust your path or change your approach. The real secret to success is constantly evaluating your actions and having the courage to change strategies when necessary. Persist, yes, but with intelligence and awareness to know when it's time to take a different route. Success is the result of daily discipline. Daily discipline can be challenging to maintain, especially in times of crisis or stress. Linking success directly to constant discipline can create guilt in people who struggle to maintain a rigid routine. Discipline is a valuable tool, but should be flexible. Build a routine that works for you, allowing for adjustments as life circumstances change. Success doesn't depend on unbreakable discipline, but on adaptation and the balance between discipline and self-care. Focus and determination open doors that were once seen as insurmountable. Focus and determination are important, but not all doors open because of them. Some doors are locked due to external factors such as limited opportunities, inequality, and things beyond our control. This view can create unrealistic expectations and frustration when things don't work out. Cultivate focus and determination, but also develop resilience to accept that some doors may remain closed, even with your best efforts. Find other doors, create new opportunities, and be open to alternative paths. You don't always need to force open a door that won't budge. There are always other possibilities to explore. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Creating the future is a powerful idea, but sometimes it feels unattainable. Many variables are beyond our control, and it's not always possible to shape the future as we want, which can be discouraging when results don't match our efforts. Working to build the future is important, but be prepared to adapt to the surprises that come along the way. Instead of trying to control every aspect of your future, focus on influencing what you can while staying flexible to deal with the unexpected. Creating the future is as much about acting as it is about knowing how to respond to what cannot be predicted. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to be constantly improving. The constant pursuit of improvement can be exhausting and lead to the feeling of never being enough. This ideal of continuous improvement can fuel anxiety and self-criticism, leaving little room for rest and appreciation of who we are now. Improving is a valid goal, but also allow yourself to celebrate your achievements and accept your limits. There's nothing wrong with having moments of stagnation as long as you're taking care of yourself. Constant improvement should not be a stifling obligation, but a natural process that happens at your own pace. Nothing is impossible for those who refuse to give up. Believing that nothing is impossible can create unrealistic expectations and, upon failure, a sense of inadequacy or incapability. Some things are truly beyond our reach, no matter how hard we try, and accepting this is part of life. Don't see giving up as weakness. Sometimes, recognizing an impossibility is a sign of maturity and wisdom. Pursue your dreams, but be aware of your limits and be flexible in adapting your expectations to reality. Learning to distinguish what is feasible from what is not can prevent unnecessary suffering. With determination and focus, even the biggest dreams can come true. The truth is that even with determination and focus, not all dreams come true. External factors like limited opportunities, economic and social contexts can prevent certain goals from being achieved, no matter the effort. Be determined and focus on your dreams, but always have an alternative plan and be prepared to accept when things don't go as planned. This isn't failure, it's adaptation. What's important is to continue finding purpose and meaning in life, even if the original path changes. Winners are not born. They are forged by dedication and persistence. The pressure to be dedicated and persistent can be overwhelming, especially when it feels like results aren't showing despite all the effort. Sometimes even the most dedicated face obstacles that seem insurmountable. Dedication and persistence are important, but don't forget that you are also human and have limitations. Allow yourself to fail and recognize that success is not always guaranteed, even with all the effort. Keep trying, but respect your limits and celebrate your small victories along the way. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. Placing all the weight of transformation on our actions can be simplistic. Often, factors beyond our choices influence who we are and who we become, such as environment, life circumstances, and even other people. Your actions matter, but remember that context also plays a significant role in your journey. Focus on doing the best with what you have, but understand that not everything depends solely on what you do. Learn to accept and adapt to what is beyond your control, without losing sight of what can still be done. If you're tired, learn to rest, not to quit. Sometimes, resting isn't enough. When exhaustion is mental and emotional, simply resting may not solve the deeper issues that are wearing you down. Continuing to push forward after a brief rest can lead to burnout. Resting is essential, but it's equally important to assess whether the cause of your tiredness goes beyond the physical. Sometimes, the best solution is truly to stop for a while or even give up on something that is harming you. Don't be afraid to reassess your priorities and change direction if necessary for your well-being. Those who want to do something find a way. Those who don't find an excuse. This kind of phrase can overlook the complexity of the obstacles people face. It's not always a matter of will. Often, there are legitimate barriers that make it difficult or even impossible to achieve something. Instead of judging obstacles as excuses, recognize the real difficulties you or others face. Seek ways to overcome them without blaming yourself or others for limitations that can't be controlled. Compassion and understanding are part of the journey towards solutions. It's consistency that makes the difference. Consistency is important, but not everyone can maintain a constant pace due to life's uncertainties. Placing all the responsibility on consistency can create guilt and frustration when life presents challenges that make us stop or change course. Being consistent is valuable, but accept that there will be times when your energy and availability will fluctuate. Find a balance and don't be too hard on yourself. The important thing is not to be perfect all the time, but to stay committed to your goal, even if sometimes you need to slow down. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Persistence is fundamental, but it's not the only piece of the puzzle. Persisting in something that isn't yielding results can be exhausting and even counterproductive. Sometimes, it's necessary to change strategy or accept that something didn't work. Value persistence, but combine it with reflection. Constantly assess if the path you're on still makes sense. Persist, yes, but with the wisdom to know when it's time to change direction or adjust your approach to achieve your goals more effectively. The key to success is focusing on clear and precise goals. It's not always possible to have clear and precise goals, especially in times of uncertainty or when we're still discovering ourselves. The pressure to have a crystal clear objective can be distressing for those exploring different paths. Goals are important, but don't pressure yourself to have all the answers from the start. Allow yourself to explore and adjust your goals as you evolve. Focus should be a tool to aid your progress, not a prison that prevents you from exploring possibilities and adapting to new realities. You are what you repeat every day. That's why it's important to repeat determination. The idea that we are defined by our daily actions may be true to some extent, but it can also create a cycle of guilt when we can't always maintain determination. After all, life is full of ups and downs, and perfect consistency is an unrealistic expectation. Repeating positive behaviors is important, but accept that you'll have bad days and moments of weakness. Don't let these days define who you are. What truly matters is how you choose to start again after each difficulty. Determination isn't about never failing, but about always getting back up, even if slowly. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. The idea of never stopping can be exhausting and lead to burnout. Sometimes it's essential to stop and reassess the circumstances to ensure you're on the right path and that the effort is worthwhile. Continuing out of stubbornness may prevent you from seeing better alternatives. Life isn't a constant race. If you need to stop, do so without guilt. Use these moments to rest, reflect, and readjust your strategies. Movement is important, but it's also essential to respect your own pace and recognize that pausing is part of growth. I have no special talents, only an obsessive curiosity. Obsession, often romanticized, can be harmful, especially if it leads to neglecting other important areas of life, such as personal relationships and mental health. Focusing on one thing to the point of obsession can create significant imbalance. Curiosity is a powerful tool for learning, but it should be used with balance. Allow yourself to be curious and explore, but also set healthy boundaries. There's no problem in pausing, having fun, and taking care of yourself along the way. True genius lies in living a balanced life, not in singular obsession. The power of the mind is infinite when the will to win is strong. Placing everything on the power of the mind can be unrealistic and dangerous, as it overlooks human and inevitable limitations. Even the strongest will encounter barriers that cannot simply be overcome by mental strength. Mental strength is important, but recognize your limitations. Use your mind as a powerful tool, but also accept that there are things beyond your control and that can't be solved by willpower alone. Mental strength is about resilience and adaptation, not about eliminating all challenges through positive thinking. The way to get started is to stop talking and start doing. The pressure to start doing can overlook the importance of planning and learning before acting. Often, starting without adequate preparation can lead to mistakes that could have been avoided with a bit more reflection and discussion. Doing is essential, but planning and discussing are equally important steps before acting. Don't feel pressured to rush into action without thinking. Find a healthy balance between planning, discussing your ideas, and getting to work. Execution is better when you have a solid foundation to start with. Focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. Sometimes, focusing only on what you want can create a limited view and prevent you from noticing potential challenges or dangers along the way. Focusing solely on the positive can lead to ignoring warning signs and failing to make prudent decisions. Having a clear goal is important, but it's also essential to be aware of obstacles and learn to deal with them. Don't ignore what needs to be addressed. Recognize challenges as part of the process and use this awareness to prepare better. A balanced view between what you want and what you need to overcome can help achieve more lasting results. Failure defeats losers, but inspires winners. Not everyone feels inspired by failure. Failing can be painful and discouraging, and there's nothing wrong with feeling sad or shaken after a loss. This romanticized view of failure can make people feel worthless if they can't immediately find inspiration. Failure is a human experience, and above all, you need to give yourself the time to deal with the pain of it. After processing failure, yes, it can become a lesson, but don't rush this process. Accept your emotions, and when ready, use failure as an opportunity for growth. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The courage to continue often requires more than just determination. It involves facing fear, exhaustion, and uncertainty. Continuing is not easy and isn't always a clear option for everyone. Sometimes, pausing or changing direction is the wisest choice. Cultivate the courage to move forward, but recognize that courage can also mean changing course or taking a step back to reflect. Success is an ongoing process of reevaluation, and it's okay to need time to regain strength. Courage is to keep going, but also to know when it's time to take care of yourself and adapt. The determination you put into what you do defines how far you can go. Jack Canfield. Determination, as important as it is, doesn't guarantee success. There are limitations and circumstances that can prevent progress, regardless of how determined you are. This perspective can make people blame themselves for not reaching their goals, even when they have no control over the circumstances. Be determined, but understand that achieving your goals doesn't depend solely on willpower. External factors and unforeseen events are part of the journey. Don't blame yourself when something doesn't work out despite all your determination. Use these moments as learning opportunities, and if necessary, adjust your expectations or strategies. Progress happens outside the comfort zone. The constant pressure to step outside the comfort zone can be exhausting and even paralyzing. Leaving the comfort zone isn't always possible, and forcing yourself to do so can lead to stress and anxiety. It's essential to understand that the comfort zone has its own value. Growth often requires discomfort, but be sure to respect your limits. Step out of your comfort zone gradually, while also valuing what you've already achieved. Remember that rest and comfort are necessary to regain strength and prepare for new challenges. Progress is a balance between stepping out of your safe space and respecting your need for stability. The difference between a dream and a goal is a deadline. Setting a date for a dream can be frustrating when unforeseen factors hinder progress within the established time frame. Turning a dream into a goal with rigid deadlines can create unnecessary pressure and make you give up too soon, just for not meeting a schedule. Set deadlines as guides, but remain flexible. Life is unpredictable and may steer you away from your plans. Allow your goal to evolve as circumstances change. The journey to achieving your dreams shouldn't be a race against time, but rather a process of personal growth and constant adaptation. Persistence is the twin sister of excellence. One is the mother of quality, the other of accomplishment. Persistence, while important, doesn't always lead to excellence. Repeating the same mistake persistently can hinder progress and create frustration. It's essential to understand that persistence must be accompanied by learning and change. Be persistent, but also reflective. Evaluate your mistakes and learn from them to improve. Blindly persisting in something that isn't working can be harmful. Adapt your strategies as you learn. Excellence comes from the combination of persistence with intelligence and the flexibility to change what needs to be changed. You can't rely on motivation alone. You have to rely on discipline. Discipline, though important, can become an unbearable burden when applied without considering moments when we need to rest or reassess our priorities. Maintaining discipline during periods of exhaustion can harm your mental health and well-being. Build a disciplined routine, but allow yourself moments of rest and self-assessment. Motivation and discipline should go hand in hand, but respecting life's ups and downs is essential to maintaining balance. True discipline is knowing how to adapt, allowing space for your human needs, and recognizing when it's time to pause. Every small step in the right direction brings you closer to your destination. Small steps don't always take us exactly to the planned destination. Sometimes circumstances change, and the path that seemed right doesn't yield the expected results. This can lead to a sense of wasted time or effort. Value each small step, but be willing to reassess the path whenever necessary. Small steps can lead you to places that weren't in your plans, and this can be a positive thing. Embrace uncertainty and allow your destination to evolve as you learn and grow along the journey. To achieve success, you must first believe in it. Believing in success is important, but it's not enough. Confidence can falter when challenges pile up, and often, even with strong belief, we still encounter obstacles that prevent us from achieving what we want. Believe in your success, but also be prepared to face frustrations and changes of plan. Confidence is a great starting point, but it's continuous action and adaptability that truly lead to success. Keep building your path, even when confidence isn't at its strongest. It's never too late to be who you might have been. Although the idea is inspiring, the reality is that some opportunities are time-bound. We can't ignore that certain moments and phases of life come with restrictions that make some goals unattainable if not pursued in a timely manner. It's true that there's always time to evolve and seek new achievements, but it's important to accept and adapt to the changes time brings. Find new ways to fulfill yourself and redirect your dreams as your life changes. It's not too late to seek fulfillment, but it may look different than what you initially imagined. It is constant action that produces results. Will alone achieves nothing. Even constant action may not produce the desired results, especially when there are variables beyond your control. The pressure to act all the time can lead to burnout, while results still seem distant. Action is important, but it's also essential to have patience and recognize when a pause or change of strategy is necessary. Progress isn't just about constant action, but about effective action. Regularly evaluate your efforts and adjust your actions so they become increasingly aligned with your goals and life conditions. You will become what you think and what you fight for every day. Our thoughts and efforts don't always turn into reality. There are many things beyond our control, and insisting that everything depends solely on positive thinking and effort can be unfair to yourself. Your thoughts and efforts certainly influence the path you follow, but recognize the limits imposed by reality and don't blame yourself for what isn't within your hands. Focus on what can be done, but also allow yourself to accept that despite all your dedication, some things may not go as expected. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. The idea that progress always requires struggle can be tiring and demotivating. Not all progress needs to be a difficult battle. Sometimes, the endless pursuit struggle as the only means of growth can prevent us from seeing the value of peaceful and tranquil moments. Progress can involve struggle, but it doesn't have to be only that. Seek to recognize and value moments of peace as part of your growth. Not everything has to be a battle. Often, progress happens in the moments when you allow yourself to live, breathe, and reconnect with who you are. It is not enough to have great ideas. You need great determination. Determination alone isn't always enough. There may be practical and contextual barriers that make it difficult to turn great ideas into reality, regardless of the determination involved. The pressure to just have more determination can lead to frustration when results don't appear. Have determination, but also create realistic strategies and seek support. Great ideas need not only willpower, but also a favorable environment, resources, and help from others. Turning an idea into reality is a collaborative and complex process that goes beyond individual determination.